When we hear the term dark side, we often associate it with something sinister or evil. It is common to see our dark side as something negative. Therefore, it is often a side of ourselves that we try to hide from the public. In many cases, we may even go as far as to try to bury it and try to ignore its presence through blissful ignorance. We become willfully blind to it. Perhaps this is because of fear of what others will think of us. After all, most people, to some degree, actively avoid being ostracized by the people around them. It could even be because of societal programming. We are told from a young age what's appropriate and inappropriate in terms of our behavior. But what if I told you that there are benefits to embracing your dark side? The fact of the matter is that everyone in the world has a dark side. Our self-awareness of it may vary from person to person, but it is certainly there, lying dormant in our psyche. To understand your dark side is really to understand yourself on a level deeper than most people ever achieve. It is bringing the deepest parts of our subconscious into the forefront of our consciousness and confronting it to reach a form of self-enlightenment. Now, when I say, embrace your dark side, I want to be clear. This does not translate to acting on your negative impulses. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Instead, embracing your dark side in this context means understanding yourself as a whole. That includes the sides of yourself that are not so glamorous. It is a confrontation between you and your unconscious. To embrace the power of your dark side, we first need to understand a concept known as the shadow, which was developed by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. He once wrote, "It is high time we realized that it is pointless to praise the light and preach it if nobody can see it. It is much more needful to teach people the art of seeing." The first step to understanding the dark side is to acknowledge that there is a version of you that has been artificially created since you were young. This version of yourself is what you want the world to see. For example, if you were to take a look at a typical social media influencer's Instagram page, you might see them living glamorously, flaunting their wealth, expensive cars, or places they've traveled to. This is the version of themselves they want you to see, while hiding the uglier truths about themselves they don't want to be revealed. This one-dimensional focus creates an artificial view of life and yourself. It is often created to hide your shadow and to conceal your true emotions and feelings by putting up this fake persona, which is often created to either impress others or be accepted by others. As we live our lives, this fake persona becomes so integrated into our day-to-day lives that it becomes normalized and thus keeps us distanced from our authentic selves. Even worse, as social pressure from our peers builds, sometimes we might feel the need to keep this fake persona alive, which can often be the root cause of things like depression and anxiety. It leads to a mental exhaustion of having to conform to the expectations society places on you. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is the part of ourselves that we don't see or acknowledge. It includes our hidden fears, desires, and feelings that we might find uncomfortable or unacceptable. The shadow is like a hidden side of our personality that affects how we think and behave. In simple terms, the shadow is the part of your unconscious mind that holds all the things about you that you repress, whether because they are evil, socially unacceptable, harmful to others, or detrimental to your health. To continue to hide from the shadow and go against it actually strengthens it over time. The reality is that every human being, you, me, and everyone you know, are all capable of good and evil. This truth is to be accepted rather than avoided. This is an absolute crucial part of using your dark side to empower you. Most people avoid facing their shadow simply because they do not like to see the ugly parts of themselves. But remember, just because you choose to place something out of sight does not mean that it's not there. Next, let's understand why embracing your shadow, rather than avoiding it, can unlock a new, empowered version of yourself. Simply put, it is because the shadow contains what you need, not what you want. It is raw, honest, and brutal feedback. For instance, if you are an incredibly shy person, timid and nervous, your shadow might be loud, aggressive, and assertive. It shows the qualities which you need to integrate to achieve balance. It contains the things you fear. That is why it becomes essential to examine what your shadow is trying to tell you. The choice to embrace your dark side versus ignoring it makes all the difference in the world. The more you ignore it, the darker it gets, and the more it weighs you down in the long run. Instead, embracing, accepting, and ultimately learning from it allows you to understand yourself on a level deeper than you ever have. As counterintuitive as it sounds, it is the person who embraces their dark side that is the one who is at peace and more capable of doing good. Alternatively, it is the person who avoids their dark side that is the most capable of evil. The true light is found in the innermost depths of darkness. To embrace your shadow means you need to be brave and spiritually disciplined enough to explore that darkness to bring out the light. What are some ways you can embrace your dark side? The main way is to examine your emotions, especially when you feel angry, irritated, or insecure. When you're feeling a particularly strong negative emotion, you might feel the need to project. Projection is when you unconsciously displace your feelings onto another person. Anyone who projects and blames others constantly is someone who is running desperately from their dark side. Instead, to embrace the dark side means you mustn't act on impulse and rather understand the situation you're in, even if the situation isn't your fault. When you examine your emotions, it is the equivalent of you having a conversation with your shadow. You may discover some profound truths about yourself you need to learn. Let's take a look at the benefits of embracing your shadow. It can provide you with personal growth, as mentioned before. It allows you to confront and work through areas of discomfort, leading to a more integrated sense of self. Another benefit is creativity and innovation. Embracing your dark side may lead to new perspectives and ideas that were previously hidden or suppressed. But in my opinion, the greatest benefit is authenticity and inner peace. This comes from accepting the full spectrum of who you are. This authenticity can positively impact various areas of your life, including relationships, work, and personal satisfaction. You can experience a deeper connection with yourself. In summary, the dark side, or the shadow, is a rich and complex concept that involves the exploration and integration of unconscious elements within an individual's psyche. Embracing it is considered a crucial step toward personal development, self-discovery, and a more authentic existence. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for future videos. Until next time, stay aware, stay empowered, and remember, knowledge is your greatest defense against the unseen forces that shape our world.